Right, let's start. So this is the 5th lecture. Here we talk about word categories, emotions, and personality types. Right? Let's start it with something like a question. What word best describes your personality if you are interested solely in your own welfare, or if you are constantly talk about yourself, or if you dedicate your life to helping others, or if you turn your mind inward, or if you turn your mind outward, or if you hate humanity, or if you hate women, or if you hate marriage, or if you lead a lonely, austere existence. Right, session 1 or first topic here. Let's read. Every human being is in one way or another unique, right? Everyone's personality is determined by a combination of genetic and environmental factors. Let us examine 10 personality types, one of which might by chance be your very own, that result from the way culture, growth, family background, and environment interact with heredity. And of course, we begin not with the words but with the ideas. Ideas. 1. As an idea, someone, me first. It means that your attitude to life is simple, direct, and above board. Every decision you make is based on the answer to one question: what's in it for me? If your selfishness, greed, and ruthless desire for self-advancement hurt other people, that's too bad. This is a tough world, pal, dog eat dog, and all that. And I, for one, am not going to be left behind. It's an egoist. 2. The height of conceit. Now, let's see. Have you heard about all the money I'm making? Did I tell you about my latest amorous conquest? Let me give you my opinion. I know, because I am an expert at practically everything. You are boastful to the point of being obnoxious. You have only one string to your conversational violin, namely yourself, and on it you play a number of monotonous variations. What you think, what you have done, how good you are, how you would solve the problems of the world, etc. and Nuzim, an egotist. 3. Let me help you. You have discovered the secret of true happiness, concerning yourself with the welfare of others. Never mind your own interests. How is the next fellow getting along? It's an altruist. 4. Leave me alone. Like a biochemist studying a colony of bacteria under the microscope, you minutely examine your every thought, feeling, and action, probing futile questions like, what do other people think of me? How do I look? And maybe I shouldn't have said that. Are your constant nagging companions, for you are unable to realize that other people do not spend as much time and energy analyzing you as you think. You may seem unsocial, yet your greatest desire is to be liked and accepted. You may be shy and quiet. You are often moody and unhappy, and you prefer solitude, or at most the company of one person to a crowd. You have an aptitude for creative work and are uncomfortable engaging in activities that require cooperation with other people. You may even be a genius or eventually turn into one. That's an introvert. This one, an introvert. 5. Let's do it together. You would be great as a teacher, counselor, administrator, insurance agent. You can always become interested, sincerely, vitally interested in other people's problems. You are the life of the party because you never worry about the effect of your actions. Never inhibit yourself with doubts about dignity or property. You are usually happy, generally full of high spirits. You love to be with people, lots of people. Your thoughts, your interests, your whole personality are turned outward. That's what? An extrovert. Right? 6. Title for this personality as an idea. Neither extreme. We talk about this personality. You have both introverted and extroverted tendencies. At different times and on different occasions, your interests are turned in about equal proportions, both inward and outward. Indeed, you are quite normal in the sense that your personality is like that of most people. So this personality, we call it an ambivert. 7. The idea, people are no damn good. Explanation for this personality: cynical, embittered, suspicious. You hate everyone, especially, but never to be admitted yourself. The perfectibility of the human race, nonsense, no way. The stupidity, the meanness, and the crookedness, the crookedness, of most mortals, most probably all. That is your favorite theme. We call this kind of personality a misanthrope. A misanthrope. Idea 8. Women are no damn good. Only women. Sometime in your dim past, you were crossed, scorned, or deeply wounded by a woman, a mother or mother figure, perhaps. So now you have a carefully constructed defense against further hurt. You hate all women. We call this personality a misogynist. Misogynist, right? We carry on. Idea number 9 for the personality. Marriage is an institution. And who wants to live in an institution? Who wants to live in an institution? Explanation for this personality. You will not make the ultimate legal commitment. Members of the opposite sex are great as lovers, roommates, apartment or house sharers, but not as lawfully wedded spouses. The ties that bind are too binding for you. You may possibly believe and possibly for yourself be right that a commitment is deeper and more meaningful if freedom is available without judicial proceedings. We call this kind of personality a misogamist. A misogamist. 10. the idea or the title for this personality, that the flesh is higher to. Explanation: self-denial, austerity, lonely contemplation. These are the characteristics of the good life. So you claim the simplest food and the least amount of it that will keep body and soul together, combined with abstinence from fleshly, earthly pleasures, will eventually lead to spiritual perfection. That's your philosophy. We'll call this kind of personality an ascetic, right? An ascetic. Right, now we are going to have some kind of exercises on the previous personalities. Right, the first exercise, using the words. You have been introduced to 10 valuable words, but in each case, as you have noticed, you have first considered the ideas that these words represent. Now, say the words. Each one is respelled phonetically here, phonetically with phonetic transcription, so that you will be sure to pronounce it correctly. Say each word aloud. This is the first important step to complete mastery. As you hear a word in your own voice, think of its meaning. Are you quite clear about it? If not, reinforce your learning by reading the explanatory paragraph or paragraphs. First, can you pronounce these words now? Number one, here is the pronunciation. Egoist, egoist. Right. 2, egotist. 3, altruist, altruist. 4, introvert. 5, extrovert. 6, ambivert. Right. 7, here, misanthrope. Here, right. Misogynist. Misogynist. Right. It's pronounced sa. Right. And here it's pronounced j. Right. Next, number 9. But here it's pronounced ga. Misogamist. Right. Here, genist, and here, gamist. Misogamist. 10, ascetic. Now, different exercise. Can you work with the words here? Now, you have taken 2 long steps toward mastery of the expressive words in this chapter. You have thought about the ideas behind them, and you have said them aloud. Now, for your third step, match each personality from here to here with the appropriate characteristics, action, or attitude. Number 1, egoist. Which one matches egoist? A. The idea turns thoughts inward, or hates marriage, or talks about accomplishments, and so on. Right. I'm going to read, and then I give you the answer or correct answers for these exercises. Right. Egoist, egotist, altruist, introvert, extrovert, ambivert, misanthrope, misogynist, misogamist, and the last, ascetic. Right. Switch off the video and try to read again and match. How to match? We write the letter of the sentence here for the correct answer. Right. And here we have the answer. For 1, G. For 2, C. Here 1, G. Egoist. This one believes in self-advancement. Right. Number 2, C. Egotist. Talks about accomplishments. Right. We write here C, and we write here G. G, C, and so on. Read and take the answers from here. Right. That's what we are going to discuss, inshallah, or we take, inshallah, in the final exam. Questions like this, right? With these answers. So, you should study them well. Next page. Do you understand the words here? Another exercise now. Now that you are becoming more and more involved in these 10 words, find out if they can make an immediate appeal to your understanding. Here are 10 questions. Can you indicate quickly and without reference to any previous definitions whether the correct answer to each of these questions is yes or no? 1. Is an egoist selfish? Circle yes or no. 2. Is modesty one of the characteristics of the egotist? Is it one of the characteristics of the egotist? Modesty? Is it? Yes or no? Circle one of these. You read the questions and choose the answer. Right? Before I give you my correct answers, switch off the video, read, and try to choose yes or no. Right. Here are the answer key. 1, yes. 2, no. And 3, no. So, is an egotist selfish? Yes. Is modesty one of the characteristics of the egotist? No. 3. Is an altruist selfish? No. Right? And so on. Read and circle. Right? Right. Let's go to the next exercise. Can you recall the words? Different exercise. You have thus far reinforced your learning by saying the words aloud, by matching them to their definitions, and by responding to meaning when they were used in a context. Now, can you recall each word now without further reference to previous material, and can you spell it correctly? 1. So you write the name of the personality. 1. Who lives a lonely, austere life? Who is it? Starting with A. Is it an egotist or an egoist? Write it here. 2. Whose interests are turned outward? Starting with letter E. Who is supremely selfish? Starts with letter E. 4. Who hates people? Starting with letter M. And so on. You read these questions and write the name or the personality with these letters starting the personality. Right? Here we have the answer key. Ascetic, extrovert, egoist. Right? Ascetic, extrovert, egoist. Ascetic, extrovert, egoist. Right? Right. Okay. So this is the answers for the previous test or questions. Right. Now, let's carry on. Let's carry on here. Another different exercise. Do you understand the words? Now that you are becoming more and more involved in these 10 words, find out, right, if they can make an immediate appeal to your understanding. Right? Here are 10 questions. Can you indicate quickly and without reference to any previous definitions whether the correct answer to each of these questions is yes or no? Now, is an egoist selfish? Yes or no? Is modesty one of the characteristics of the egoist? Yes or no? According to the previous exercise, right? Yes or no? Previous exercise, we have written the names of personalities. But now, yes or no? Is an altruist selfish? Circle yes or no. And so on. Read the questions and choose. And here we have the answers. Yes, no, no. So is an egoist selfish? Yes. Is modesty one of the characteristics of the egotist? No. Is an altruist selfish? no, and so on. Right? Right, so try to finish all the exercise up to question number 10. Right? Can you recall the words? Now in another way. You have thus far reinforced your learning by saying the words aloud, by matching them to their definitions, and by responding to meaning when they were used in context. Now, can you recall each word now without further reference to previous material, and can you spell it correctly? Who lives lonely, austere life, starting with letter A? Is it ascetic? Right? Whose interests are turned outward? Is it egoist? Who is supremely selfish? Who is it? Starting with letter E. Now, continue questions. After you finish, come to the answer key here. Ascetic, extrovert, egoist. Right? So, ascetic, extrovert, egoist. Right? And so on. Who hates people? And so on. It's misanthrope. Misanthrope. Right? Continue the questions or the exercise, which is in a different way. Right? Okay. Now, this note origins and related words. The origin for some words. Every word in the English language has a history, and these 10 are no exception. In this section, you will learn a good deal more about the words you have been working with. In addition, you will make excursions into many other words allied either in meaning, form, or history to our basic 10. Number 1. Now, the origin for the word ego, the ego. Egoist and egotist are built on the same Latin root. The pronoun ego meaning, right, I, it means I. I is the greatest concern in the egotist's mind. The most overused word in the egotist's vocabulary. Keep the words differentiated in your own mind by thinking of the ta in talk, and the word and is commonly used, and the additional ta in egotist. Ego itself has been taken over from Latin as an important English word and is commonly used to denote one's concept of oneself. As in, what do you think your constant criticisms do to my ego? Ego has also a special meaning in psychology, but for the moment you have enough problems without going into that. If you are in egocentric, right, see here, egocentric, you consider yourself the center of the universe. You are an extreme form of the egotist, and if you are an egomania, it's here in phonetic, egomaniac, egomaniac, yeah, it's a Latin word, right? Right. You carry egoism to such an extreme that your needs, desires, and interests have become a morbid obsession, a mania. The egoist or egotist is obnoxious. The egocentric is intolerable. And the egomaniac is dangerous and slightly mad. Egocentric is both a noun, what an egocentric her new roommate is, and an adjective, he is the most egocentric person I have ever met. To derive the adjective from form of egomaniac, add al, a common adjective suffix. Say the adjective aloud. Egomaniacal, yes. Egomaniacal. Yeah. 2. Others now. In Latin, the word for other is alter. Yes. And a number of valuable English words are built on this root. Altruism. Altruism, yes. The philosophy practiced by altruists comes from one of the variant spellings of Latin alter. Other, altruistic, yes, actions look toward the benefit of others. If you alternate, yeah, you skip one and take the other. So to speak, as when you play golf on alternate Saturdays, yeah. An alternate in a debate, contest, or convention is the other person who will take over if the original choice is unable to attend. And if you have no alternative, right, you have no other choice, right? Now, let's stop here for a while. We will continue. Right, let's carry on. So, can you pronounce the words? Digging a little into the derivation, of 3 of our basic words, egoist, egotist, and altruist, has put us in touch with 2 important Latin roots, ego, I, self, and alter, other, and has made it possible for us to explore with little difficulty many other words derived from these roots. Pause now for a moment to digest these new acquisitions and to say them aloud. Number 1, here it's written in phonetic transcription, ego. 2, egocentric. 3, egomaniac. It's here written in phonetic transcription. It's a Latin word. Egomaniac. Right? Egomaniac. 4, egomaniacal. Right? 5, altruism. 6, altruistic. Right, it's written here in phonetic transcription, but the problem, it's not according to what we call it IPA system. Right. 7, as a verb, to alternate. 8, alternate as an adjective or even as a noun. Right. 9, alternative. 10, alteration. 11, to alter as a verb. Right. Now, can you work with these words? Part 1. You have seen how these 13 words derive from the 2 Latin roots, ego, I, and self, and alter, other. And you have pronounced them aloud and thereby begun to make them part of your active vocabulary. Are you ready to match definitions to words? Now, 1, 2, up to number 6. Here, choose the best or the correct choice. 1, ego. Is it A, one who is excessively fixated on his own desires or needs, or to change, ego, or argument, or one's concept of oneself, or to take one, skip one, etc., or philosophy of putting another's welfare above one's own. 2, egocentric. 3, altruism. 4, to alternate. 5, to alter. 6, altercation. Now, before you see the correct answers, what you do, you switch off the video, you read, and choose the correct definition and write it here, A or B or C or D up to F here. Right? Here are the answers. Number 1, D, and then A, and then F. D, A, F. Here, ego, D. One's concept of oneself. Right. Egocentric, A. One is who excessively fixated on his own. 3. Altruism, it's F. Philosophy of putting another's welfare above one's own, and so on. Right? So this is the answer key. Right. Now another different exercise, part 2. Can you work with these words? Right here, and here is the answer key for this exercise. Actually, I have put it on the same page now. But it would be better if you try to work on your own before you look at the answer. 1. Egomaniacal. Is it a change, other possible, or interested in the welfare of others or one's other self, or a choice, or morbidly, obsessively wrapped up in oneself? Actually, this is the answer. Egomaniacal, the adjective, is morbidly, obsessively wrapped up in oneself. 2. Altruistic, as an adjective, right? It's actually C. Interested in the welfare of others. This personality. 3. Alternative, right? Actually, the answer is a choice. When we say alternative, we mean a choice. 4. Alteration, right? Actually, it means a change. Alteration is the same as a change. 5. Alter ego, right? Actually, it's D. Alter ego means one's other self. Ego means the self. Alter means other. 6. Alternate, as an adjective. It means B. Other possible. Right? Now, let's go to the next exercise. People and the stars. Talking about personalities. Right? Anthropologist is constructed from roots we are familiar with. Anthropos, mankind, and logos, science, study. The science is anthropology. Anthropology. Now, can you write the adjective form of this word? Write it here. The adjective form of anthropology. You check it in your dictionary and write it here. Now the question, can you pronounce it? Okay. Now, astronomer is built on Greek astron, star, and nomos. Arrangement, law, or order. The astronomer is interested in the arrange, right? In the arrange. Now, can you pronounce these words here from 1 to 10? It's written in phonetic transcription here. Right? Anthropologist. Anthropologist. 2. Astronomer. Astronomer. 3. Geologist. Geologist, yeah. 4. Biologist. Biologist here. This phonetic transcription here, J. 5. Botanist. Botanist. 6. Zoologist. Zoologist, yeah. 7. Entomologist. Entomologist. 8. Philologist. Right? Philologist. 9. Semanticist. Semanticist. 10. Sociologist. Sociologist. Right? Right. So that was the pronunciation according to phonetic transcription. Now, another exercise. Can you work with these words? Here we have a list for scientist, and here is the list for professional field. Right? Professional field, yeah. Number 1, anthropologist. Professional field, community and family life. 2, astronomer. B, meanings and psychological effects of words. 3, is it? Now, I mean you choose. We have to choose. Geologist. 4, biologist. 5, botanist. 6, zoologist. 7, entomologist. 8, philologist. Yeah. 9, semanticist. 10, sociologist. These are all what we call them, how to call the scientists, nouns for scientists, for different areas they study, right? For their different areas, according to their different areas of study. Here we have anthropologist, astronomer, geologist, biologist, botanist, zoologist, entomologist, philologist, semanticist, sociologist. Now read and then write the correct professional field for this scientist, for this person, right? And here is the answer key. C, D, G. Anthropologist, it's development of the human race. Astronomer, it's celestial phenomena, right? Right. G, geologist, it means the earth. The professional field of the study is the earth, right? Geologist, the person is a geologist. What's his work on, or what's the professional field that he studies? The earth. What we call it in Arabic, geologia. The one who works for or in this field. In English, geologist. In Arabic, geology. Right, and so on. Right, so try to work on your own before you look at the answer key. Switch off the video and try to read and put the correct letter of the professional field in front of the scientists. Right? Okay. Now, how to talk about again the science and scientists again that we have had as an introduction before. Now, in details. A true scientist lives up to the etymological meaning of his title, one who knows. Anything scientific is based on facts, observable facts that can be recorded, tested, checked, and verified. Science then deals with the human knowledge as far as it has gone. It has gone very far, indeed, since the last century or two, when we stopped basing our thinking or guesses, wishes, theories that had no foundation in reality, and concepts of how the world ought to be, and instead began to explore the world as it was, and not only the world but the whole universe, from Galileo, who looked through the first telescope atop a tower in Pisa, Italy, right, through Pasteur, who watched microbes through a microscope, to Einstein, who deciphered riddles of the universe by means of mathematics. We have at least begun to fill in a few areas of ignorance. Who are some of the more important explorers of knowledge? And by what terms are they known? This is the question. The answer now here, number one, whether mankind. The field is all mankind, how we developed in mind and body from primitive cultures and early forms. We call this kind of scientist what? An anthropologist. Two, what's above? The explanation for this science. The field is the heavens and all that is in them, planets, galaxies, stars, and other universes. We call the scientist an astronomer. Three, and what's below? Explanation for this scientist or field of study. The field is the comparatively little and insignificant whirling ball on which we live, the Earth. How did our planet come into being? What is it made of? How were its mountains, oceans, rivers, plains, and valleys formed? And what's down deep if you start digging? We call this scientist who's work in this field a geologist. 4. What is life? The field is all living organisms, from the simplest one called ammoebia to the amazingly complex and mystifying structure we call a human being. Plant or animal, flesh or vegetable, denizen of water, earth or air, if it lives and grows. This scientist wants to know more about it. So the scientist who works on this field of study, a biologist, which we call in Arabic عالم الأحياء. 5. Flora. Biology classifies life into two great divisions, plant and animal. This scientist's province is the former category, flowers, trees, shrubs, mosses, marine, vegetation, blossoms, fruits, seeds, grasses, and all the rest that make up the plant kingdom. We call this scientist who works on this field of study a botanist, right? We call this in English a botanist, right? علم النباتات أو عالم النباتات, right? 6. And fauna. Animals of every description, kind and condition, from birds to bees, fish to fowl, replies to humans, are the special area of exploration of this scientist. So this is his field of study. We call this a zoologist. A zoologist. A zoologist, yeah. طبيب البيطري أو عالم الأحياء البيطرية. Right? Okay. 7. And all the little bugs. There are over 650,000 different species of insects and millions of individuals of every species, and this scientist is interested in every one of them. We call this scientist an entomologist. An entomologist. Right? Maybe somehow that's what we call in Arabic, maybe عالم الأحياء الدقيقة. Right? Right. 8. Tower of Babel. This linguistic scientist explores the subtle, intangible, elusive uses of that unique tool that distinguishes human beings from all other forms of life, to wit, language. This person is, in short, a student of linguistics, ancient and modern, primitive and cultured, Chinese, Hebrew, Icelandic, Slavic, Teutonic, and every other kind spoken now or in the past by human beings, not excluding the delightful hodgepodge known as Pidgin English, in which a piano is described as big box, you hit him in teeth, he cry, and in which Hamlet's famous quandary, to be or not to be, that is the question, is translated into can do, no can do, how fashion. We call this scientist who studies all these a philologist. Right? 9. What do you really mean? Right? What do you really mean? Sorry. This linguistic scientist explored the subtle, intangible, elusive relationship between language and thinking, between meaning and words, and is interested in determining the psychological causes and effects of what people say and write. We call this kind of scientist a semanticist, right? عالم اللغويات أو عالم اللغة. 10. Who are your friends and neighbors? This scientist is a student of the ways in which people live together, their family and community structures and customs, their housing, their social relationships, their forms of government, and their layers of caste and class. We call this scientist a sociologist, right? A sociologist, yeah. عالم الاجتماع. Right, an exercise now about what we have read. Can you work with these words? Scientist and professional field, yeah. That's what we have done in previous pages. Anthropologist, astronomer, yeah, more practice, right, you choose. geologist, biologist, botanist. What kind of a professional field are they doing? You choose from here, right? Okay, and here is the keyword or the answer key for this exercise, right? Right, sorry. So that's the end for this lecture. We stop here. Don't forget to finish this exercise. Don't forget that. It's very interesting exercise. You read and you choose. Let me check it for you. So anthropologist is what we call it, development of the human race. Yeah. The root. Race means the root for the person. 2. Astronomer, it's the what we call it, celestial phenomena. 3. Geologist, right? It's the earth, or the study, or the field of study is the earth, right? 4. Biologist, right? The field of study, all forms of living matter. يعني عالم الأحياء الدقيقة, right? Right. Okay. Now, 5. Botanist, right? Botanist, field of study, plant life. عالم النبات, right? Plant life. Okay. 6. Zoologist, right? It's the field of study is animal life, right? Like what we call it in Arabic البيطرة أو عالم البيطرة. 7. Entomologist, right? The field of study is insect forms, right? Right. If we have it in Arabic, like something like عالم الحشرات, right? Something like that. 8. Philologist, it's the field of study is the language, right? Okay. 9. Semanticist, they are close to each other, right? It's semanticist, the field of study, meanings and psychological effects of words. What we call it in Arabic, اللي هو عالم اللغويات, right? 10. Sociologist, right? The field of study is community and family life. عالم الاجتماع, right? Who studies community and the family life, right? So we stop here. Thank you very much, right? Right. Let's carry on here. What do we have here is how to talk about a variety of personal characteristics, right? Teaser preview. What word ending in "os" describes someone who is following, civilly, attentive, transparently, self-ignorating, right? Self-ingratiating, right? Sorry. Nagging, dissatisfied, complaining, snobbish, haughtily, contemptuous, arrogant, noisily, troublesome, unmanageable, habitually short of cash. Sorry, right? What else? How to describe people who are attentive and courteous to women, harmless, fond of liquor, pale, gaunt, haggard, melancholy, sorrowful. Number 1. An idea for this, let's say, characteristic. We have the heading or the title for this idea, compliance. The explanation for this character. The Latin root "sequer" means to follow, and those who follow rather than lead are usually in a menial, subordinate, or inferior position. People who engage in certain fields of endeavor, waitress, clerks, and servants, for example, are forced, often contrary to their natural temperament, right? Temperaments, right? To act excessively courteous, pleasant, obliging, even subservient and humble. They must follow the lead of their customers or employers, bending their own wills according to the desires of those they serve. They are etymologically full of following, after, or. Right? Yeah. Right. Right. Let's go to the next page for different types of characters. Right. 2. The heading or the title for this idea, for this character, complaints. Explanation. The Latin root cura means to complain, and anyone full of complaints, constantly nagging, harping, fretful, petulant, whining, never satisfied, may accordingly be called what? Curious. Curious. 3. Snobbery. The Latin root cilium means yield. Sober means above, and above the yield, as anyone can plainly see, is the eyebrow. Now, there are certain obnoxious people who go around raising their eyebrows in contempt, disdain, and sneering arrogance at ordinary mortals like you and me. Such contemptuous, right, sneering, overbearingly conceited people are called supercilious. Supercilious, yeah. This is the other character now. Number 4, heading or title or an idea for this character, explanation. 4, noise. The Latin root stripo means to make a noise. Anyone who is unruly, boisterous, resistant to authority, unmanageable, and in a noisy, troublesome manner is that kind of character. Ostriporos, right. Number 5, the title or idea, moneyless. Explanation for this character first. The Latin root picos means cattle, and at one time in human history, a person's wealth was measured not by stocks and bonds, but by stocks of domestic animals, which was a lot more logical since you get milk and leather and meat from cattle. True wealth. And all you get from the stock market is a headache. Someone who had lots of picos then was rich. Someone without picos was indigent, right? Destitute, broke, no money. And so today we call someone who is habitually without funds, who seems generally to be full of a complete lack of money, is impecunious, right? Impecunious, right? It seems to be Latin root. This word is not a synonym of indigent, destitute, or poverty-stricken. It doesn't necessarily imply living in reduced circumstances or want, but quite simply being short of cash habitually. Related words here we have number 1, pecuniary, pertaining to money, as in pecuniary consideration, pecuniary affairs, etc. 6, horses. The French word cheval means horse, and in medieval times only gentlemen and knights rode on horses. Common people walked traditionally, but not, I understand, actually. Knights were courteous to women, attentive to female desires, and self-sacrificing, when their own interests came in conflict with those of the fair sex. Hence, we call a modern man who has knightly attitude to women, we call that kind of character of man chivalrous. Chivalrous, right? Chivalrous. Right, okay. I think that's enough for this lecture. We stop here. Thank you very much. Good luck. See you inshallah. Goodbye.